Hey guys, so I'm assuming you're watching this because you want to know what you're going to do because you got accepted to the summer seminar, or what you might do if you're applying, or, just some interesting facts about it. So, I'm leaving tomorrow. My plane is leaving tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness. The things that I pretty much know so far is when you get your paperwork, read all of it. Read all of your paperwork, front, back, read everything, do everything and ask you the way you're supposed to, so it's so much easier, because sometimes it can be really confusing. And I would say don't, if you're bringing a suitcase, don't pack so much in your suitcase that you can't leave space for the clothes that they're giving you. Because, they're going to give you 6 shirts, 6 shorts, and then a pair of sweatshirt and sweatpants. And so you need to make sure that you definitely have extra space in your suitcase to fit those things, especially if you're like me and you don't like packing a lot in your suitcases. Okay, the next thing I know, it's super humid over there, so if you're a person who's like crazy blah 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 with humidity, if you can, try and stay in there another night beforehand, and you may get yourself adapted to it a little bit beforehand, because I'm from a place where it's super dry heat. What else can I say? If you're flying, bring something to do. That's definitely going to be a fun part of it. And I'm going this from head on of trying to be super respectful of everyone else around me, because if you do get accepted, we're all leaders. Like, we all take charge. We all know how to take charge. We all understand what it means to be a leader, and we all want to be leaders so much. And it's going to be a really hard environment because everyone's going to want to do something different, and everyone's want to do something, that may seem a little bit out there compared to everyone else. So, from this perspective, I'm going to go in there with a kind of a clean slate when it comes to leadership. I will still definitely be a leader where I can, where I'm needed, but for right now, I'm just going to lay back and do what I'm told and let my midshipmen, the people who take care of us, let the midshipmen tell us what to do and obey their rules. And it's kind of hard for me being from an ROTC standpoint where I'm always in charge, and it's going to be a little bit of a jump for me getting the commands once again as then receiving them. So if you're like me and you are kind of power hungry and still in a leadership position, try and cope yourself to that, because it's going to be kind of hard for me while I'm there, definitely. And yeah, that's as much as I have right now. Alright, see you guys when I get there. Hey everyone. So I got back from my summer seminar about a week ago, and I know I told you guys I would keep up and do it every day, but things are kind of busy over there and you don't really get the chance. We had a good amount of free time. We really did, but my phone was dead, so I didn't really have the opportunity to make these videos for you. So I figured most of you guys would be watching this because you want to kind of see what we do and the things that we do over there and how we do them. And so the first day that you're there, what you pretty much do is you I don't know how to describe it. Think of it like an assembly line. And so you walk in, and the first thing that you do is you sign in. And so if you're taking the bus there, what you would do is you get off the bus, they tell you, tuck all your shirts in. And that was kind of a whoa, I didn't realize it was going to be this serious kind of thing. So you go and you tuck all your shirts in, you get your name tags, you say goodbye to your parents, if your parents are there with you, and you walk down these stairs and you meet everyone, and then the first thing that you do is you walk in to Bancroft Hall, and you walk in, you set your stuff down in one of the hallways, and then you walk through what's pretty much like the assembly line, and you get these bags, and they give you your shorts, your sweatpants, with all the sizes that you had signed up for when you started. And so once that's all done, and they tell you to go write your names on your stuff, and you come back, and then you wait to figure out where room you're in, and that's in your name tag. And by the way, your name tags that they give you at the beginning, you have to have them with you all the time. Even if you go to the bathroom, it's kind of ridiculous sometimes. And so you get all your stuff, you get up to your room, you make your bed, you get your stuff done. If you came early like I did, they would give you a chance to go out and play games with some of the kids that are out there, and you get to meet other kids. I didn't meet anyone in my squad when I was there. I did meet people in my platoon, which was good. So that was a good thing. I met a few people that were there. You meet so many new people. It's great. And when you go, like, you really need to have an aspect of, like, this is going to be fun for me and I need to enjoy this. I need to meet people and I need to say hi. I need to, like, don't be afraid to talk and don't be afraid to make friends, even from the first minute you get there, because it'll be so much more fun for you if you're not sitting there in the corner kind of, like, cowering for fear. So that's a big thing that I would definitely stress. All right. And so after you go do that, you come back in, and then you're introduced to what your formations are. And so you go to your spots, and you meet your squad leaders, and you meet the people who are going to be in your squad and in your platoon and in your company. And that's pretty fun as well. I really enjoyed it. Everyone in my squad was pretty chill. We had some super funny people, and that's, like, the best part. Is having people that you can really connect to and talk to. So that's a plus. Hopefully you guys will have a super good squad like mine was, and a super awesome squad leader like I did. He was pretty chill as well. And so after you do that, you go and you get your dinner stuff done. They, like, tell you what it's going to be, and every night they have something called Blue and Gold. And so what it is, it's before you go to bed. They announce the people who did something very well that day, very extraordinary that day. And, we end up, they sing the alma mater, however you pronounce it, for the school, which is called Blue and Gold. And you can look it up. It's on their website. It's pretty cute and nifty, and I like it. It makes me happy. And so then after that, you'd go to bed, take your shower, get your stuff done. And that's just within the first day, although they do follow these kind of routines. And so the second day, what I did is, we woke up and we did some morning pep, and that's a physical exercise program, and it's pretty much for all of you JROTC kids. It's PT. It's pretty early in the morning. It can be kind of intense, but not very intense. Make sure you do not drink a crap ton of water before you go, because you will throw up, and a few people did, and I'm not gonna lie, I did later, because I drank a lot of water during while we were working out, not just before, not just after. So be wary of how much water you drink, but at the same time stay hydrated, and it's going to be super important for you while you're there. Also, another thing, pep was really hard for me in the morning. My entire squad can, attest to that. So if you are like me, definitely work out in the mornings. Like, definitely work on it, because it's going to be so worth it, because while you're there at that school, they're really checking you out almost just as much as you're checking them out. And so that's a really important factor, and you have to be professional at all times, and you have to be super motivating at all times, and super willing to get things done, and super, just the perfect person that you can assume to be. And it's going to be kind of hard to stand out from the crowd and to do these really impressive things, because everyone there is a super impressive person, just like you are. And just like I was, and just like everyone else in my squad was, just like everyone else in my platoon, my company was, just as, like, everyone in the entire brigade was such amazing people, and they had done such amazing things, and you're not really used to it, I guess, if you're in town from kind of a small town like me, and it can be kind of hard to find super hardworking and dedicated people. And so when you're surrounded by super hardworking and dedicated people, it's a completely different environment, and you feel both successful because you're there with them, but you feel a little bit less successful because there are some people who do more interesting things than you, or they do just as amazing things than you. And you have to really, like, take yourself down a few notches and humble yourself. And that was kind of a hard thing for me. The leadership aspects, there are specific situations where you are, you can arise to be the leader. They don't happen a lot, but they're definitely, like, they're kind of hidden in there, like, hidden in the grass of, like, the things that you can do in order to be a good leader, and they do definitely look at that, and that's super important to have as well. So let that be known. Be a leader, but at the same time, you do need to listen to all the rules and things that are given to you above the leaders above you as well, because their commands override your commands, which you don't actually have. Your commands are imaginary, and they're just kind of like, hey guys, let's sing a song or something, So keep that in mind. And so you'd have breakfast, and I'm going to tell you guys now, the whole mealtime situation if you're used to really like quiet meals, like really like nice family meals, you're in for a large surprise. It is served family style still, but there's so many. I think they're amazing. There's so many traditions that they have in their lunchroom. Like, if you finish a carton of orange juice, you have to stab it and rip it apart and yell kill as loud as you can. And it's the same thing if you're grabbing a piece of chicken off a plate. And if you open a jar of peanut butter, instead of just opening the jar of peanut butter and sliding the top off, you have to bang it on your head to get it off. And before you leave, everyone usually bangs the table and says something for their squad that's super motivating before they leave. And it's really, really hard to hear people, so you yell a lot during your mealtime. And most of the people ask you, like, things about yourself, like, favorite movie, favorite animal. I had, what's your favorite spirit animal? And then, you know, things like that. Like, be prepared for questions and be prepared to ask questions. And asking questions while you're there is going to be the most important fact of that. And depending on what, like what group you're in, you may get to do different things. Like my group, we had the Navy SEAL parachuting team. They came and they parachuted down like right in front of us, like less than 50 feet from us. And, we got to talk to them afterwards and ask them questions and like, just like pick their brain a little bit about things they did and why they joined. And it's super, super motivating. It's a really fun thing to do. You do have pep with one of the SEALs in the morning, and for my specific seminar, like, it was pretty fun, and he made it really enjoyable. And so that's one thing that you have to look forward to as well. They do teach you how to do, like, basic drill commands, based on, like, what the schedule was. In my specific seminar, we only got to do it for one day, and if you're in JROTC like me, it can be kind of tedious and somewhat annoying, but you just have to take a humble notch down and just kind of learn along with them, because I was from a different branch of ROTC, so there's like minute differences in some of the things that we would do. And so if you're in one of those, if you're like me and had those differences, it's good to learn those differences and acknowledge them before you do end up going to that school later, and you do, end up joining that branch later and finding out that you've been doing it according to a different branch for so long. And so that's a really big thing as well, and really help the people around you if they're struggling, because in reality you're not better than them, you just learned before they did. And that's something that you have to take into factor as well. And for the thing that many of you, I'm sure, were wondering about and had questions about, sea trials. Sea trials for me was probably one of the most fun things that we had the opportunity to do while we were there. I didn't get to finish it because if it gets too hot, they can't do it anymore for your safety. And so it can be pretty intense. Like, the first thing that my group did is we did the endurance course, and what the endurance course is you're pretty much like you're running through a forest. And it's 1.5 miles long, and you're going as fast as you can. You're helping your squad with all these different things you have to do, and there's lots of strength training things. And so you run in, you climb over logs, you get in the mud, and you get dirty, and you do rope climbs, and your shirt gets all stretched out in the middle because you have to pull on it, and everyone's cheering each other on, and everyone's being motivating, like. Everyone's trying to push you forward, push you to the front of the line, push you to finish, and it's a really, really great aspect. And you are exhausted afterwards, and you may feel sick afterwards, but your squad leaders will have food for you, your squad leaders will have water for you, they'll have Gatorade for you in an appropriate amount. And it's a super fun thing to do. And then after that segment, what we would do is it's like a little exercise portion, so we went and each platoon would go, and so they would line up in a squad, and we would flip this 400-pound tire and back and forth, and we got the highest record for that day. And then after that, you would go and you do martial arts, like you learn different ways to kick and different ways to punch and things like that. And after that, you would go and you do not relay sprints, but you would do sprints with your entire platoon in line. And the way that my instructor did it is, what he would do is, for every person that didn't finish the way that he asked them to, we would do not like a punishment. We would do a punishment of how many people. So say if 10 people didn't finish the finish line how he asked, we would do, say, 10 push-ups. And it's things like that. And you really do have to try the hardest you can, because you're not there. You are there for yourself, like you're learning for yourself and you're learning these things for yourself per se. But when you're there and when you're part of your team, you're not yourself anymore. You're your team and you make up your team. And it's important that you finish. So like every last fiber of you has to be for someone else. And that's a super, super good thing that while you're there, it's a really great aspect because everyone there is cheering you on and you're cheering everyone else on, and it's a really motivating environment. It's a really like healthy environment depending on who your squad is and how you guys get along. And you do get to ride in boats over sea trials, you do, and it's pretty cool. It's really crammed in there, and it's kind of hot, and everyone's really sweaty, but they're all kind of like gearing out for each other, and we're all having fun and making jokes, and that's a super fun part too. I loved the boat rides. Were pretty much my favorite part, and you get to put face paint all over your face. Some people had mustaches and beards, and other people went like full green faces, and it's the funnest thing to do ever. And exercising is a really big part of while you're there. Remember one morning we had this thing called Braveheart runs. So what you would do is they would say the Braveheart speech, and then when he shouted freedom, you sprinted across pretty much like a football field, and there's just this guy in the middle of the field with the kilt and bagpipes, and he's just kind of going for it, and it's really hard with all the stuff that you do, and you have to finish quickly in order to get enough time to rest to go back. I was usually one of the last people to finish because I'm not a very strong runner. So work on your running as well before you go, so you're not all embarrassed like I was. But you're not usually the only one. There's a few people who are like behind with you, and it's not all you. That was a good thing. That was a good thing that I was there too. Obviously, it's a Obviously, it's the Naval Academy. So everything there is not purely physical. It is very educational as well. So you're there. You get workshops. Workshops that you signed up for at the beginning of classes that you would be interested in. So for me, I had many engineering classes, and I loved it. Like all of the things that I saw online, the things that I was like, man, this looks really interesting. I really want to do this. Those are the classes that I did get to do, and I love them so much. It's great. Like you learn things and you talk to people who have the same interests as you, and I get to take apart and put back together a lawnmower, and it's super interesting. And all the teachers are really they're really I don't know how to say it. Like they're interesting teachers as well. Like you don't want to fall asleep on them because most of the things that they have to say are really interesting things. Although some classes, depending on what time of the day you're in, can be tiring, and you will have to struggle to stay awake sometimes, just because, you may be fatigued from the previous day or the things that you did earlier in the day. So that's kind of something you have to be wary of. Another big thing that they tell you is just if you do feel sleepy, just stand up. Just if you one of those people that tends to get sleepy during the classrooms, just sit towards the back of the classroom, stand up if you feel tired. They're going to understand. They've dealt with people who have done it before, and it's completely okay. And also, when you sign up for your classes, sign up for you, not for the academy. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, I had a kid who told me that he signed up for purely math classes because he wanted to seem better to the academy, and so he had such a hard time dealing with his classes, and he didn't enjoy his workshops as much as he could have if he had signed up for classes that he enjoyed. So definitely sign the classes up for yourself, because it is about whether or not you want to go there, not whether or not they want you to go there, if that makes any sense. And so you have to be really it's for you. It's the decisions that you're going to make for your life. So you need to make sure that you're going to enjoy your time while you're there, because you're going to spend a lot of those times in your classes. And that's pretty much all I have to say. The last day is full of briefs, full of interesting things, but they have kind of mentioned them before throughout the week, so it can be kind of tedious, but it's definitely a necessity. And they'll tell you all about the sports while you're there. They'll tell you all about the things that you need to do for sports, the requirements, the things that will make you competitive, and that was really important for me. So if that's important to you too, they will address it while you're there, and you can ask questions. You see all of the uniforms that the midshipmen wear, and you learn all the traditions and you learn all the phrases, and it's a really, really fun time. It was definitely a life-changing experience for me. I learned new ways of being a leader, and learned new ways of like approaching the people that I'm going to lead, or approaching people that I'm not going to lead, and approaching the people that I even have to listen to. And so if you're like me, that was a super important thing for me. This definitely was a life-changing experience, and I didn't think it would be, which is why it's so cool for me to say that I had finished this. So yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. If you have questions, feel free to just leave them below. I'll answer them. I'll tell you any funny stories if you have a question that pertains to a funny story. I have plenty. I have plenty, trust me. So I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you for listening to my spiel, and see you next year.